Hello everyone, I'm Danny and I am back to do a TV and movie catch-up in one video. I apologize for the weird background and all of this, but we're still settling into the house and we haven't found a really good recording space yet. So for now, this is what we have and let's just get started. So since the last catch-up I did, I have watched a few movies on TV. I have not been to the theater and watched anything new, but that's going to change in the next couple weeks. So let's just get started on what I'm watching recently. First is the TV show The Rainmaker on USA. That series, the first season ended. There were 10 episodes. I really enjoyed this series. I never saw the original movie with Matt Damon and I never read the Grisham book, but I liked this series. I thought it was clever. I mean, there were some legalese issues I had just from my knowledge of watching a lot of legal shows that I thought was a little silly, and it got confusing with the whole case there towards the end. But overall, I liked the characters. I liked the family that they were building. I liked the villains. I liked the good versus evil aspect of it. And so I do recommend this for someone. Now, don't go into it thinking that it's, a really smart legal show, but it was well done and it was enjoyable. For a USA show, it was enjoyable. That's kind of how I would qualify that. The next thing I'm going to talk about is a documentary on Prime called I Like Me. This was the story of John Candy and his whole life, starting from how he was, what he was like as a child, all the way through till he died. His children are on here. His wife is on here speaking about him, as well as all of the people that we know and love that were around him. Eugene Levy and Tom Hanks, and people talked about his relationship with John Hughes, which was really interesting. It was good. It wasn't the best documentary I've ever seen on someone like this, but I did really like filling in some blanks of his life. Hard to believe it's been 30 years that he's been gone. I really wish we could have seen what he would have done at this stage, but super fan of his. Love so many of his movies, so many things that we quote around this house. So it was good enough to watch. So if you are a fan of John Candy at all, it's definitely a must watch. And again, that's on Prime. The next movie I watched is called The Woman in Cabin 10. This starred Keira Knightley and it's on Netflix. This was a mystery. She's on a yacht as a journalist with some some billionaires trying to cure cancer. That whole story doesn't really matter. The mystery was interesting. It was enough that it kept my attention throughout the movie and I kept watching it. In the end, was the payoff good enough? Not entirely, but again, for right now, with the absence of me getting out to some new movies, this was definitely something that I enjoyed watching and a good enough mystery to keep it going. So I would say this is kind of a Sunday afternoon, nothing else really on. You just want to veg on the couch. This is that kind of movie worthwhile. Turning back to TV for a bit, Matlock is back for the second season. I think we're 2 episodes in. It's interesting because, there's a big story arc to this show, and I'm not sure how it's going to really make it through an entire second season. That's always a hard thing to do, and we will try, and I'm going to stick with it because, again, I love everyone in the cast, and I'm excited to see where they take it, but it does feel like it's a little disconnected right now, and they're trying to figure out where to get it to go, if that makes sense. Daryl Dixon, the Walking Dead spinoff, just ended its 3rd season. I really enjoyed this season. They were in Spain this season. It was very interesting. It's just this burning desire to get Daryl and Carol home to the U.S. And so I know that they can't if we want this series to continue. However, I want them to get home so bad that it's, it's this I'm torn in two directions type thing. But I really enjoyed this season. I thought it was good. I wish Daryl actually had more in it. And I felt like they started something there where he's remembering being a child with his brother Merle, and maybe there's something more coming from that. But I definitely want more for him than just kind of the savior all the time. Comment below if you're watching, because I feel like I'm still on this Walking Dead island, and that there are many people who are still interested. And I'll tell you what, I still watch The Walking Dead on Prime Live or The Walking Dead channel or whatever, and I still love it. So I would like to know that there are still other people out there like me. Loot just came back. This is the third season for Loot, which stars Maya Rudolph and Nat Faxon and a whole bunch of other people. Great show. It's so funny. I'm one of those Maya Rudolph stans that and I don't use that word very often, actually. I can't believe I just did. I love everything she does. She makes me laugh so much. And the season opener this season had Henry Winkler on it. It was hysterical. I like the premise. And it's one of those where it's like, does it really matter about the premise and where they keep the story going? Because to me, I'm just having fun with it. But in its third season, I hope they do get somewhere this year. But we'll see. It's just a fun show. And if you haven't watched it, I definitely recommend this to people, especially if you like Maya Rudolph. It's fun, it's clever, it's got a great cast, it's a little family of its own, and I really enjoy it. So check it out. Now there is a series that just came out. This is on Hulu, Murdaugh, Death in the Family. I know it's spelled Murdaugh, but they pronounce it Murdaugh. This is all about the Alec Murdaugh murders and his wife and his son and all the previous horrible things that allegedly the family has conducted. I've watched numerous documentaries on this whole thing. Why do I need to watch another show? This stars Jason Clarke and Patricia Arquette. So this is a scripted show that Hulu just needs to take a swing at. It's fine. So far, I haven't learned anything new. So far, Brittany Snow's in it as well. She plays a journalist who's kind of investigating the whole Murdaugh family and these string of tragic happenings that keep happening around the family. For me, I just like this sort of stuff, so that's why I keep watching. But if you don't, obviously, there's no reason to start now. If you know enough about the Murdaughs, then you know you're going to either watch it or not. Patricia Arquette is so good. I feel like in all of these docu-series things that she's been doing in the last, 10 years or whatever, she's just so good. And in this one, that's what's sticking out to me the most, is I really enjoy watching her. Back to TV, Ghosts is back for its 5th season. If you don't watch this show, what's wrong with you? If you watch the English version, good for you. I tried it and my timing didn't work well enough and I got so far behind, and I was watching this version and I didn't want to mess up the two because I enjoy this version so much. I didn't want to get in my head of the other of the British version. So I probably, whenever this series ends, I probably will go back and watch that one. But John and I both watch Ghosts. We love it. In the 5th season, it doesn't feel like it's slowing down. It doesn't feel like it needs to. The writers are so clever, and they just keep coming up with funnier and funnier situations to be in. Ghosts is on CBS. I would go to Paramount Plus. If you aren't watching, go back and watch from the beginning. It's totally worth it. A documentary that I watched, and everyone seems to be talking about it online, so I'm probably a little behind here, but I did watch it the day it came out. The Perfect Neighbor. What a devastating story. This is about a neighbor who complained, a white woman who complained about her black neighbors often and all the time and didn't want the kids playing around, and eventually it turns fatal when one of the kids' mom came over to the house to get a tablet that she had stolen from one of the kids, and the mother was shot through the door. When you watch this, the interesting thing about this documentary, and as far as it's told, it is told entirely through police cameras. There's no interview footage. There are no after the fact footage. And so what you're getting out of this are the real stories of people in the moment. And this shows a year and a half of the cops having to keep coming out to this neighborhood because this woman kept calling the cops on these kids. And so you see the build up to this, and then you see the raw emotion. And I'll tell you, it's hard, and I was a mess, and I was crying. And I'm so happy that someone made this documentary, because this is a story that needs to be told. And I'm not going to get much into but if you're on TikTok and you see a lot of the Karens around that feel like they run a neighborhood and they can say and do whatever they want and tell people things, I hope they're all watching this documentary, because people just need to mind their own business and let kids be kids. The cops kept saying that. Like, we want them running around playing instead of horrible things that they could be out there doing and committing crimes. So it's a really hard watch, but I think it's something that everyone should watch. So that's on Netflix. Definitely check that out, The Perfect Neighbor. Another documentary on the complete opposite side of entertainment spectrum is called Downey Wrote That. This was on Peacock. This is about the SNL writer Jim Downey. He worked at SNL off and on for, I believe it was 37 of the 51 years that they've been on. And if you name any of your favorite sketches from SNL, likely chance that he wrote it. And it's a really well done documentary about his vision, his kind of direction of comedy, what he thinks is funny, and why those things always turned into successes at SNL. And sketch writing is a lot different than comedy writing, and how he pulled it off. And it was really well done. And I as a huge SNL fan, I loved it, and might go back and watch it again, because there's just a lot of information there that I want to absorb and go back and see. So that's on Peacock, called Downey Wrote That. If you are a Saturday Night Live fan at all, or interested in how people write things like that and sketches, then it's definitely worth checking out. A movie that I watched, this one is on Prime, called Maintenance Required. The reason I wanted to watch this was because it stars Madeline Petch, who was on Riverdale. She was kind of the villain girl on Riverdale, and she was actually my favorite. So when I saw this, I was like, I'm going to watch it. And as soon as I got into it, I realized this is the modern, or this year's version of You've Got Mail or The Shop Around the Corner. And it was interesting to see how they followed, because again, you think people don't really write letters anymore, and You've Got Mail, it was that they were emailing or in an AOL room, and this one was kind of the same thing. They were like on a Reddit forum writing back and forth, and it follows the exact pattern, and so you know exactly what's going to happen. It changed up the ending just a little bit, but I liked it. I thought it was good enough for a Prime movie, and again, a Sunday afternoon lazy day movie. You don't expect anything great out of it, but this guy who starred in it was Jacob something or other. He's an English guy. Never seen him before. Liked him in this. I thought it was interesting. It centers she owns a car garage, automotive garage, and he works for like a big like pet boys type thing, and he moves into the neighborhood and is going to put her out of business and blah blah blah. And I liked that idea of the girls she runs an all-female automotive shop, and I thought that was kind of cool. So again, nothing huge, but I enjoyed it. So if you like that sort of thing, it's definitely a rom-com. You just go and watch Watch it how you like. Another movie, this is an older one, but it finally got on Netflix. Well, not old, but from this year. I Know What You Did Last Summer. This is the 25 version of the one from the 90s. I decided to watch it just to see, and I don't know why it needed to be rebooted, because it didn't feel like the Scream add-ons. I'm not sure. Now, I enjoyed watching Jennifer Love Hewitt come back. I enjoyed watching Freddie Prinze Jr. come back, but I didn't really see the point as to why it needed to be made again. And it looks like they are planning on doing another one. At least that's the way the movie ended. So, okay, it wasn't scary at all. It wasn't very exciting. But I also am not a huge fan of the previous movies in this. I Know What You Did Last Summer, and I Still Know What You Did. I didn't really like those anyways either. I'm definitely more on the Scream side of things. But thought I'd just point it out because it is on Netflix. So if you didn't get to see it earlier this year, it's there, and it's spooky season. And so if you want to watch it, you can go check it out. And finally, the last show I want to talk about is Chad Powers, which is on Hulu. I think I've watched 4 episodes so far. The 5th one just came out this week. I'm a little behind. This stars Glenn Powell. He played Glenn Scott or Scott Glenn, and so I always get it confused. Glenn Powell. And, he puts on this ugly face to play football. This probably would have been okay as a movie. Drawing it out as a television show is really boring to me. I'm still watching it because there are certain days during the week where I have nothing to watch. And so I go, oh yeah, there's that episode. I can go watch that. Yeah, I'm not sure who decided this was a good idea, and I'm not sure why he said yes to it. A movie would have been okay. They probably could have amped it up and made it really funny. But I'm also not sure where this is going, because at some point he's going to have to tell everyone, and I don't know. So I would love to hear from someone else. Are you watching Chad Powers? Am I way off? I'm also not a sports movie person. I don't like, movies or shows about sports. So maybe that's part of the problem I'm having. I don't know. I really do like him in his other stuff, but this show's falling really flat for me. So I would love to hear from you. Are you watching Chad Powers or any of these other movies or shows, things that you've watched? And am I missing something? I mean, I'm not touching on a lot of the network things. High Potential, FBI, what else? Tracker. Those shows have come back. I watch all of that stuff too, but I feel like those aren't worth, the serial shows I don't feel like really need that much attention. So that's where I am right now. So that's this week on our catch-up. I probably will wait another week or 2 before I come and do another one. Hopefully I'll have some new movie reviews coming out, though, in the next week or 2. I really want to get to the theater and see some of these movies that I've missed. There's been a lot of good ones in the last few weeks, so I'm hoping to get caught up with that now that we are settled. Comment below if you have any questions, or if there's anything else that I should be watching that you are liking right now. Otherwise, please subscribe. Like this video if you could. That would help us out a whole bunch. And thank you guys so much for watching. I will see you next time. Bye.